In our previous 2 episodes of Finding Love in America, we told you the remarkable journey of Q, short for Qinghua Zhao. She met her husband on Two Red Beans, a Chinese dating website, after trying without success for years on other sites like Match.com and OkCupid.
It was very quick. I think on the 3rd date, I already knew that he was one, and he knew I was his one. And we got married after we dated for 99 days.
Remember, that dating website, Two Red Beans, was founded by Q herself at a time when she was not only aggressively husband hunting in her mid-30s, but she was also feeling restless at her job as a scientist in Silicon Valley.
What if I'm still here after 5 years or even 10 years? I'm still here doing the same job. I felt like this is not what my life should be.
How about you? Have you thought about staying in your job doing the same thing for 5 years, 10 years? In this episode, we dive deep into Q's backstory of becoming an entrepreneur, including a crisis from the get-go when her co-founder left just after 5 months.
Yeah, I was alone. I didn't have any income. I was alone, don't have a boyfriend. It was really depressing. And you felt darkness in front of you, and you felt like any day you could go crazy.
How did you rebound? And how do you know if you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur?
I think a certain amount of restlessness is great. You've got to be positive. Otherwise, there's just no fun. And authenticity. This isn't required to be an entrepreneur, but it's required to be a great entrepreneur.
That's Tim Rowe, founder of CIC, Cambridge Innovation Center in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He shares his thoughts about what makes a great entrepreneur, plus your questions for Q about entrepreneurship. I'm Mabel Chan, and this is One in a Billion, a podcast about China through the voices of Chinese millennials in America.
If you never tried, you never failed, then you are a failure because you never tried to do something better.
That's it. Do you dare to try and fail? Can you afford to fail? Remember, Q dared not quit her job for years, even as she kept reading, thinking, and talking to business owners about entrepreneurship. Then one day, a magazine article called In Praise of Failure pushed her over the line.
The more I read it, the more excited I get. To the end of the article, I couldn't hold myself. I was shaking, basically. So excited. I was shaking. And I knew I crossed the line. I knew so clearly that I crossed the line.
You feel as if you got to do this. You got to try to
So,
actualize your dream.
Right, yeah. And then the rest of it is just history. I went back on Monday. I told my boss I was going to quit.
Q told no one she'd quit her job. Not her friends, definitely not her parents. She enrolled at the Founder Institute and StartX at Stanford. The intense training helped her fine-tune her various business ideas and focus on the dating business, a personal problem Q knew all too well.
I started to search for a co-founder. I found my first co-founder through introduction of a friend. He taught me a lot, product development and things like this. And then there was actually a period of time that we were in a very bad place.
What makes it bad?
Because we were a little bit of directionless. After I found my co-founder, we actually launched the website in 3 months, which was great. It's amazing. But it's a very horrible looking website. But it's a website. It's working. And we already have people using it and people who found each other within a month, even at that time. But then my co-founder, he wanted to go to China because he has done a couple of successful startups. He wanted to go to China. So we went to China and we decided China is not for us.
Why wasn't China for you?
Both of us has been staying in the US for a really, really long time. We don't really know China well. We don't have money. We don't have relationships. So basically, we don't have anything that's better than anyone else at that point.
You didn't have a competitive edge.
Correct. Yes, that's perfect. Felt like if we become the biggest one outside of China, then we will have a competitive advantage. But right now we don't. But he wanted to go for the Chinese market directly. And we tried different things and didn't work. He ran out of money because of his family. So he had to leave me. It's heartbreaking because I worked really well with him.
Q was devastated, and this was just 5 months after Two Red Beans was launched.
It was the darkest time in my whole life, probably.
How long
And
were you in that darkness?
A little over 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you do
You're-
during those
you-
6 months? You kept talking to people? Reading?
I kept talking to people and doing random things. Yeah, just travel to different places. I didn't really achieve much during these 6 months. The Two Red Beans website at that time was taken care of by a friend of mine who's still in the US. She's amazing. She has a full-time job, but she was trying to help me, so she took care of it. And I was trying to decide. I was like a ghost going around different places.
Now you're going around traveling. What were you looking for?
I wasn't looking for anything particularly. I just talked to people I meet. I think at that time I was like a dead zombie, kind of.
Wow.
Yeah. One day I talked to a friend of mine and he encouraged me to just continue. He really thinks this is something. He's a good friend of mine and he's entrepreneurial. I decided that I should just continue. And if it doesn't work, then we'll see what else I can do.
What Q did was to take time out to decompress and then turn to her circle of trusted friends. Some are entrepreneurs and others are buddies for advice and encouragement. And that made all the difference in the world. She picked herself up and found another key advisor who has invaluable experience in online dating, Match.com founder Will Bunker.
I invested because after watching Q a year, and then when I finally sat down and talked with her and realized that her site was converting at a very high rate, she had good product market fit, and then it's just a matter of spreading that to more and more people, which increases the value of the site.
Now, Q is hiring staff and developing more products to reach more markets. Some of you have questions about her business plan and practice.
Hi there, this is Richard Yan from San Francisco, California. My question is related to the gender imbalance on the West Coast versus the East Coast. There seems to be more men than women in the singles dating market in San Francisco Bay Area, and the imbalance seems to go the other way in New York. Is Two Red Beans trying to do anything to help ease out this inequilibrium?
This is a great observation. In the San Francisco area, for people who is age 35 and below, there are definitely more men than women. But the ratio is not as bad as most people think.
What are you doing about that?
For the online, we try to get people to look at profiles from people around the world. That's one thing. For offline, we have matchmakers talk to everyone in the database. We actually have face-to-face meeting with them, every one of them.
Oh, wow. I see. It's like live chatting.
It's actually sitting in the coffee shop.
Oh, wow. That is unique, isn't it? Other dating websites don't have that across the country.
Right now, only in the big cities. New York.
So this is something extra that you provide.
Right. I think this is a characteristic of Chinese, the reserved nature. Some of them don't want to put their profile online. And some of them, even if they put their profiles online, they don't know how to approach someone that they like, or they don't know how to put their profile, just a bunch of things, or they are too busy. They come to us, we will have someone to help them.
Some of you are also curious whether entrepreneurship is right for you.
Hello, Q. I know it is never too late to start a business, but do you think it is ever too early to start a business? How did you make sure that you were financially, emotionally, and mentally prepared when you launched your business? What suggestions would you give to people who are in their early stage of career and wanted to quit their job and start their own business?
I think you have to be financially ready and also emotionally ready for sure. You have to be comfortable that you're doing this. And you need to have enough savings to last you long enough that you can have a prototype or something that you can show it to investors to get investment. Nowadays, lots of things are automated and tools are ready. So you don't actually need that much to start a business, especially an online business. If you have $20,000, that could last you for a year if you don't just squander.
What about character traits?
Okay, number one is honesty. Investors will not support you in a business if they can't trust you. Unless you just are going to get money from your family or friends or someone, you have to be someone of great integrity and honesty. That's the first one.
That's Tim Rowe, a venture investor, CEO, and founder of CIC, Cambridge Innovation Center, which he launched in 1999, is grown to become one of the most desirable workspaces for startups worldwide, including my company. Our podcast is recorded right here in their studio.
The second is you have to be creative. There is no obvious answer to the problems that you're facing, or they would already be solved. So you need to be someone who can think out of the box and just come up with a fresh way to do things. The last one is I think you need to be persistent, because most of the time, everything you do will fail. Because you're doing something new, and as I said, there's no solution that everyone knows about. So you're going to have to try a whole lot of things and probably fail at a whole lot of things until you find the way that works.
When Tim was 12 years old, he started helping adults figure out what computers to buy.
I guess I never knew that entrepreneurship was right for me so much as that I just started doing it. I was in middle school.
He was so good at it, he began getting sales commission from stores. He also began getting clients asking him to design computer software when he was just 15.
I don't think of entrepreneurship as business. I think of it as solving problems and helping people. It's not just about price and selling a good and making money. It's something much bigger. Business is a part of community. If you learn that lesson early, you'll be a better business person, but you'll also be a better person.
CIC founder Tim Rowe. Earlier, we heard from Two Red Beans founder Q. In our next episode, Face Our Fears, I'll talk with two young Chinese who recently graduated from Harvard and Boston University about unpredictable challenges they face in trying to land their dream job in America. What is holding you back from getting your foot in the door? What scares you? How do you manage your anxiety? We want to include you in this conversation. To send us your stories, just go to our Facebook page or our website at chinapersonified.com under Pitch a Story. I'm Mabel Chan. 1 in a billion is listening to China, one person at a time.